right, guys. Hey, welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Podcast, and I appreciate you joining. Thank you for being a part of this, and I hope it serves you well. I know every single week I'm excited to hop on here with you guys. I'm excited to think about the guest I get to bring on and the value that they're going to bring you, and that's the goal. Is every single week, start the week right? Start the week where you're excited. You got maybe a paradigm shift in thought process, perspective, how you attack the week, your behaviors, the structures, the mindset, all that kind of stuff. We want to give it to you. And so today I've got a very special guest with me, a good buddy of mine, becoming a good buddy. Somebody he served in the military as a Marine, which I appreciate. I know you probably do as well, because we wouldn't be doing what we're doing here if we didn't have guys like him out there sacrificing everything, right? Kind of puts in perspective. Like, I dial the phone. That's a big deal. That sucks. You don't got bullets getting shot at you. But in the military, now building a business with FFL, big producer, and they're really crushing this thing. And so, Dave, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good to see you, bro.
That's good.
Fresh from Indiana.
Yeah, after missing my first flight, but yeah.
Yeah, well, you made it, dude. That's all that matters, man. In fact, we were laughing because Dave's like, man, I missed my flight. I'm going to be here a little later. And I was telling you about how me and Andrew, when we got started in the business, they were just two knuckleheads, man. Like, I was 19, he was 18. And we would consistently, you probably won't miss another flight just because you're disciplined and, whatever caused you to miss a flight, you'd probably figure it out. But, dude, we were like, every time we'd miss our flight, and the guy that hired me at the other company, I remember him laughing because he was driving, and we were running to the wrong terminal. We were just a disaster anyways, man. So if I could do it, anybody could do it. But Dave, let's get into what I really want to talk about today is get into focus, how important focus is, how to eliminate distractions. And I think that this is some of the stuff that matters the most, being self-employed in what we do.
Yeah.
Like everybody, it's like great reward, great benefits. You can, manage your schedule, make as much money as you want, but also pretty large responsibility. You got to think about and be intentional with your schedule and plan for and prepare and all that kind of things. And give a background though about what you did prior, how you found FFL, and then I really want to get into what's leading you to be a Hall of Fame producer in your first 12 months and some of the things that you have going on, man.
Yeah. So way back, I was doing culinary. So outside the Marine Corps, let's say it that way. Besides that, we'll touch on those in a minute. But I was doing culinary. So I became a chef, worked in Boston for many years at different restaurants, enjoying life that way. Then ended up seeing the sales. Sales is a lot more lucrative. It's more something you can build, a legacy, thing of that sort. So I was working in a convenience store chain, building kitchens, in a sense, and building convenience stores for them, but designing and just going a whole route of no goal, really. It's like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And, transitioning out of the military is something that's scary for a lot of military members. We don't know exactly what we can do in the civilian world. So my mindset was kind of scattered, just trying to figure out, what do I want to do? What can I do? So became a chef because I knew I loved food. I mean, I love food, but I love preparing food. I love satisfying people and helping them and protecting them and taking care of them, but also feeding them, and that's something that I love about FFL is like we feed the hungry, we take care of people, and that's something that's huge to me. But in the Marine Corps, I learned the extreme discipline, okay? So your discipline, your readiness, your focus has to be on all the time. You can't, your head's on a swivel kind of thing in like athletics, you're always looking for the ball, looking for whatever it is. But in the Marine Corps and in the military in general, you have to be spot on because you're protecting the person next to you. Mm-hmm. You can't think about yourself. You have to be extremely selfless. You have to worry about the fact that I'm here with you. I want to make sure you get home because you're doing the same for me. It's always talking about they got your six. They know who you are. But
hey, real quick, man, because I think that's a big point. Like, you knew that the person beside you could trust that they have your back. And that probably gives you confidence to do your job because you're not having to worry about, do they got my back? Yeah. How did that translate when you found Family First Life compared to the other sales jobs that you did outside the military? Did that resonate with you as well? Like, this is a team, kind of like when you were in the Marines and in the military? Because I know you've been deployed quite a few times. You've had, we talked a little bit about that. I'm like, man, that's crazy, some of the stuff that the environments you've been in, which is why I think focus is going to be a great topic for us to kind of talk about and how that translated into this business. But did you also have a sense of like, man, it's just these guys got my back kind of thing? And did that matter to you? Did it help?
Over my working career, I can say, and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and when I can grow up at one point, I've been looking for something that had the culture of what I found in the Marine Corps. There was never a day that I could honestly go full on out 100% and worry about if I was going to die or not, because I knew that someone else is right standing next to me, making sure I'm okay and I'm doing the same. So, I guess the culture that I found in the transition to come to FFL, when I finally found FFL, or it found me for the fourth time, took 4 people trying, I realized that there is not a single person I can't reach out to. There's not a single person that doesn't want me to get an integrity deal. There's not a single person that doesn't want me to pay my bills. There is not anybody in FFL that wants it for themselves. They're always selfless. They're always looking for the other person. They've got my 6. They're on my back, but they're also pushing. It's a little bit different when we're trying to climb a ladder instead of trying to make sure we get back on the ship or get back in the helicopter or get back out of country. That's life and death. We deal with life, or that's life or death. Sorry. We deal with life and death. So we're trying to take care of people all day long, whether it's our agents, whether it's our clients, whether it's our own family, because while they're living, we have to make sure that they have everything that we can provide for them, but we need to protect them the whole time going through.
Yeah. I think for me, Dave, when you're talking about the Marine, being in the military, them having your back, I had this weird, I kind of borrowed confidence when I joined the company, because I just knew that it was like Sean's best interest, two ways. For one, his heart was to serve. I met this guy where I was like, man, he's willing to die for what he stands for. He's going to see it through. I can put confidence in him. He's dependable, reliable. And I just knew that he had a heart to serve and help me, wanted better for myself and my family. And I also knew that if I did well, he did well too. It was his best interest all the way around to make sure that he had my back. Just like even in the military, if you go down, now who's watching that other person's 6 now too, right? So, right. And I just knew that my confidence wasn't in my own ability in the beginning, but even as I got going, where I was, at a point in time where our business was doing $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a month in paid business, and I was doing $60,000 in personal sales. In order for me to get to $10 million a month, $15 million a month, I had to, rely and borrow my confidence from somebody that had already done that and been there, and I still got that confidence from them. And I think that that's important for anybody watching today, is borrow some confidence in the fact that you have a great amount of people around you that want you to win, that care about you, that want to see you through to the goals that you desire and the outcomes that you want.
I absolutely agree. Phoenix was that was my biggest conference I've been to so far, and that was a huge thing for me. Sean Mike met with us the night before, and he was saying, your goal needs to be to find as many people that you want to resonate with or want to be, not be like, but be in their position. If you see them succeeding in the way that you want to succeed, you need to go find them. And I ran straight to find you. I really did. The 8 steps changed everything I was doing. So all of last year, I didn't get to where I wanted to be in the industry. I was done. I was washed up and I was out.
What were you doing with the prior company? What was your issue pay business for that year, your first year?
I grossed $39,000.
Wow.
So something maybe a little more here and there. My first 2 months, solid months here, I did 56.
Awesome, man.
So
what a big difference.
Huge difference. And it wasn't even difference in my drive and my work ethic and my focus and my discipline. I stayed the same. It was just a matter of seeing other people doing it and being able to replicate. So we talk about it all the time. If you can't replicate it, it can't really be taught to begin with. So it's the same thing as when I was in the Marine Corps. Your discipline and your resolve, there was no way that I wasn't going home with every single person that went into my fire team. Not a single chance. I wasn't going into a building and not coming out with all of them. Whether they're carrying me or I'm carrying them, they're all coming out. Mm-hmm. And now coming here, there is no chance I'm not going into a home to protect that family so they can provide for their loved ones when they die. Not a chance. I am going to do it. My focus on that is huge because I know that other people are doing the same thing. And if I mess up, it's not really a mess up. I can still call them back and say, hey, I didn't say the right thing to you. I think that day it wasn't working out. How do you feel now? because every single person is coming to us for help. Why slow down? Why worry about what is happening in their life in that moment or your life in that moment? When I sit down in a home, I am protecting you today so you can provide for your loved ones. I say it to every single person. That's my opening statement.
See, I think the big thing there, guys, I mean, like, Dave, that's so good. Like, in your mind, it's already done. The victory, i.e., helping that client, it's already been accomplished. So now you're just kind of going through the formalities. Yeah. You're just going through the process, the 8 steps. You're just going to go through those steps, but it's assumed that it's done. I've already won. And I think that's important in anything. It's really having faith. Like when you go in, like you said in the military, man, you have faith. Like, hey, man, we're gonna all come out. Like that. You had this tangible almost faith that we're coming out. And then you just went through the emotions that you'd been trained on, the things that you had done through repetition, the different scenarios that you had already gone through and practice, and now you're just going through the formalities. You're just going through that. And I think it's the same thing in this business. It's exactly what you're kind of saying, man. It's so good.
When I went into boot camp, it takes around 3 months in Marine Corps boot camp to become a Marine and earn the title. It took me 6, because 2 weeks before I earned the title, I broke my leg. So I went to a medical rehab platoon, had to call mom, because you call mom and you tell mom what happened. I'm going to be longer, mom. But they gave me multiple times a chance to just go home. And I looked them all in the eyes at the same time. No, I'm a Marine. I'm going to be here until I earn the title. So when I look at this and people are saying, well, I don't know if I can do this, or I'm helping people here at FFL, and I'm in the same boat. We ride a roller coaster every day because of our volume. It's not like, in my opinion, it's not like other parts of the segment of our industry. You're riding that cyclic wave monthly and quarterly where it's ups and downs. Our volume is so high, we're seeing it daily. So our mental mindset has to be so focused on, I sat with 6, sold 1, made $1,200, but only spent $800 on leads. So that's pretty awesome. But and overall, and I have a lot more people to talk to, but the biggest thing for me is, do you want a 9 to 5 again? Do you want it to where it's easy, to where somebody else can tell you what to do? No, I'm going to be an integrity partner, period.
I love that. The mindset's so big. And I think the other thing, Dave, I get from you is the passion. Like you understand what you do and how much it matters. And I think that if more people could just get their care more up, like I just care more, then your work ethic, your sacrifice, everything that's necessary, that's a part of that, it goes up and it shows its face, so you can go out and actualize that victory, the win for that person, for you. And it's that's what you've got, man. Like when you said, I sit with the client and I know, like, I'm going to provide some protection for that family. They've called me to do that by sending that lead in, by me being there. Oh, I'm going to do my job. I'm going to see this through. And it just comes from passion, not like, oh, I'm going to go help them. I'm going to go make that sale because I need to make some money. And my goal is to make $30,000 a month. My goal is to do this. I want to buy this. I want to buy that. It's like, no. In that moment, my mind, my focus is that family. And dude, if people could get, it's tough, man, when like, maybe, I think this would be a great question for you to answer, Dave, like when it's tight, because as you came on board with FFL, dude, we don't have to talk about, was it tight? 35 grand gross, not including all the other things going in. That's tight because you have kids and a family. And so when it's tight, dude, how is it hard to take your eyes off yourself and put them on others long enough where you can properly serve them? Because that's where it goes in passion is birth, where it's like, my eyes are on you. I'm doing it for you, because I believe God created us to serve and love others. That's 100%. A commandment. So was it hard to do that in the beginning, man, to like really be as passionate about the family and not think about, man, I got my kids, my wife, I gotta make this sale to provide for them? How did you do that?
And not just the beginning. I'll tell you, because of the waves we ride a lot with this, it is almost, each time you go out. So when you get up in the morning, or let's say it this way, get your mind right before you get out of the car. Between appointments, I'm dialing, I'm calling, talking to people, I'm helping agents, I'm helping whomever is asking me a question, doesn't matter, or calling clients to try and set more appointments or take care of them. When I open my car door, the first things that I say every step, and I'm not lying, I say it every time, I'm going to protect you today so you can provide for your loved ones when you die. I walk to the door before I ring the bell or knock on the door, knowing and feeling that I'm putting my focus back on you. Didn't matter what happened 20 minutes ago. Didn't matter that, somebody cut me off on the highway even though I was going fast enough to get around. It didn't matter. The calls that I made before, the people I weren't able to provide any life insurance for. Because I'm going to walk in, I'm going to look them in the eye and say, John, Susie, I'm here to protect you today. So your loved ones don't have to be suffering financially when you pass away, or vice versa for each of you.
Is that kind of your trigger to get you?
It gets me to just say goodbye to the rest of what just was going on. So I used to go, where the biggest problem with that was that before I was saying that to myself was my appointment could go an hour and a half. So it was going a little longer because I was trying to figure out how to get into the mindset when I got in the door. I need to be in the mindset and focused and ready to go to protect and provide for that family immediately. So when they open the door, I'm standing there, I'm helping them open the screen door, and you've said it, and a lot of people have said it too, and you want to become the assistant buyer. So if you're in there, you don't want to sell them anything. I tell all my agents, I tell everybody I ever talk to, stop looking at your clients as dollar signs. They're not dollar signs, they're human beings. They put on their pants, they put on their shoes, just like everybody says, they're humans. You need to protect them because they ask for protection, because they ask for help. You need to provide for their family because that's what you took the oath when you got your license to do for everybody around you. So my focus has to be ready to go when I walk in the door, not after I walk in the door. So in the beginning, it was a little like, oh, how am I going to get these people to buy life insurance? Well, you can't buy air, and that's what they're kind of doing. You have to build the value. You have to have them understand it. But I have to build the value in myself as soon as I get out of the car.
Yeah, that's so good, man. Because I think that sometimes we can cancel like our faith, the faith in the fact that, faith and fear, they're just basically forecasts of a future that's not taking place, right? And the one thing is this, man, if I look at all the agents that do well or the agents that struggle, a big difference is not just like what they say, but it's kind of how they say it, the posture to which they say it, the tonality to which they say it. And a lot of that times it's derived from their future outlook, right? And so if more people could go from fear, like, I don't know, or what if this doesn't happen, or what if this lead doesn't work out, or what if this client says no, or what if this happens, what if they charge back, what if this all these different things that we could easily think about because they're outcomes and situations that we experience. But if we're so focused there, we're gonna miss the boat in serving the client because we have the wrong outlook. And all of a sudden we'll start going through the motions and saying things and behaving in such a way just to really validate the verdict we've already come to, which is this is how we're foreseeing it. This is our imagined forecast of what's to come. But the person that can see all the things right and have, man, I see it right. I have the positive expectation. Like, I've got some faith this is going to work out. But then you start listening to your voice. A little voice, or you start saying the wrong things. You're like, this is probably going to work. They're probably busy. I remember doing that. Like, man, they're probably busy. And I'd door, like, they're probably going to be busy. And I'd say that. I'd hear myself saying that. Well, heck, what do you think I got? I'd knock on the door. Mary would answer. Hey, Mary, my name's Paul. I know you're really, really busy, but real quick, Mary was probably watching Dr. Phil reruns.
Exactly.
The third time she's seen that episode. She's like nodding out, falling asleep, and then knocking on the door. And, hey, Mary, I know you're really busy. And she's like, yeah, I actually am. I don't have time now. Can you get back to me? And she fake grabs a broom, air broom or something. Like, dude, you created that. Mm-hmm. Opposed to, this is the most important thing they could ever give for their family. If they die when they die one day, they're going to go through the hardest thing they're ever going to go through emotionally, and financially, it's devastating. Those two things married together create the worst environment, the worst thing that somebody has to endure. I'm going to go help provide a solution to that. I'm going to go help this family. No matter what they've got going on, it could be anything. It could be Thanksgiving dinner. This is the most important thing. And that's how you got to see it. And if you see it and you start speaking that, well, now your words build up the faith, the future you desire, opposed to cancel and delete what you're imagining or you're saying beforehand, what you want to see place. You want to make sure your words are right when you walk in. I think that's important, man. Dave, talk about being in the military. I know, I've heard it said, when you're in a war environment, everything is heightened. You have a heightened focus. Is that Is that
hypervigilance? Yeah.
Okay, sounds a lot more cooler than hyper focus. So
Well, no,
I like
it's the
that
same-
word.
it's
No,
the
I
same,
definitely
but-
like that better. Talk about that, because I know you were in environments like that.
Yes.
Was that a real thing you experienced? And then how have you gotten that in this business as well, to stay on point, to stay focused? Because I think distraction is the greatest virus to having success in this business. It just creeps in and it'll kill you. Can you talk about that, man? Like how what that was there, and then how have you made that real here?
Yeah. So when I was on the 26th MU in the Med, we Operation Iraqi Freedom started again. You know, war was declared again. Ships moved into the 6th Fleet into the Gulf. We were in Crete, ready to fly in as needed. Crete, Greece, and the Mediterranean. Okay, so they went over to do a little assistance there with the naval ships. We're waiting, but then everything turned around and we had to go to Liberia. So that was when the LERD, controlled by the Liberian president, Chuck Taylor, was, they were basically doing horrible things to people, trying to get their agenda done, okay? A lot of killing and a lot of pillaging, raping, all bad things going on. So they're sending in the Marines to stop this, okay? So it was, the mission descriptions can be looked up on, I mean, that it can go in different directions. But when we went in, we had to fly into the airfield, okay? We had to secure the airfield in order to have the UN be able to come in and give medical aid, assistance to the villagers, all that stuff. But we had to push back the alert. We had to push everybody out, move people around, do things. A lot of it was high-level discussion movements and things of that sort. But with us on the ground, it was game on. So we flew out from the USS Iwo Jima on helicopters to fly in. You know, fire going on, everything's going on, and we land in the airfield, secure a point. You know, I think it was an old police station that was there, and we had to take that over. So the entire time, though, when things are happening, you can hear what could be happening to you around that airfield. You know, like the gunfire, the different things going on. That was pretty much in the live action of it. You know, like then when we secured, and then we had to go, you know, clear things, you know, move things around, do other things. The hypervigilance, okay, the head on the swivel as a linebacker in football, okay, and looking around, they're always watching for the ball. Well, with us, we're always wondering, we can't worry about what's behind us because it's gone. Like, and if somebody's behind us, the enemy or whatever, we can't stop. But what's around us, we're always on guard. I sometimes think of it as you take a pre-workout shake or a powder, and you get that really big adrenaline rush. Take away the tingles, because it always gives you tingles, and then if you don't work out, you're in trouble.
Right.
You got to burn it off. But that's the adrenaline rush the whole time. Crazy. Now, turning that into what we're doing here at FFL is it's more emotional on what we do, for sure. Like we're on the emotional side of, you know, taking care of people. But being hypervigilant turns into, in my opinion, more discipline, focus, and just resolve. So there would, like with the resolve in the Marine Corps, there was no way all of us were going in and not all of us coming out in some way. And we were going to execute and succeed no matter what. So translating that into taking care of a family, it doesn't matter where you get this lead from. It's not, I mean, I hate using the word lead even. It's like, I don't have a better word for it, but it's a person that asked me for help. And my mother was an ordained minister. I grew up God-fearing man, loving everything and loving every single person more than myself. I strive to be better every day, but for me to be better in FFL is I need to look at the people and take my hypervigilance, but turn it into the discipline, focus, and resolve in the home and on the phones, and get out of my own head, you know, because there's a lot of times that we'll hold ourselves back, and the looking in the mirror and telling yourself to stop worrying so much, pray more, worry less. You know, I've seen that around here too. It's true. You have to tell yourself. But if you can't tell yourself that, that's where you need to start working. You start working on yourself and then realize that the people that you're helping are human beings, and they don't know what they're supposed to know. They asked for help. Why would you stop? If I quit selling life insurance, if I stop protecting and providing for people, someone will die without coverage, and it will be my fault.
That's a great way to put it, man. When you go into a client's house, and even with agents, I think it's very applicable. Like, you know, I think Dave, when you can kind of take, for me, when I started to really understand how to build a business, I took what was familiar to me, which was helping families. Like I had gotten really good at helping clients, and I'd done it for a long time. I just understood it. And I started to translate that to the business side of even working with agents. Like I understand that if I don't have a conversation with somebody about family first life, they might not ever have the shot that they need to get to the next level in their life. And so then it was not about me, man, I need to grow my business, man. I need to get these next levels. I need to do it because, this and that. It wasn't about that anymore. It wasn't about that. It was, man, how many more people can I give an opportunity to have the shot that I had? Because thank God I had this shot, because who knows what the heck I'd be doing. It wouldn't be fruitful like this, And when you can kind of translate that even to like challenging and empowering the way you talk to clients, right? Where you could tell them the truth and be bold and be direct and be assumptive. Being the same way with agents. Like think about with a client, like you almost in your mind, regardless of what they say or what they do, you in your mind have convinced yourself that this person cares enough to take care of their family. And clients sometimes will say something stupid. Like, man, if I died, they'll just bury me in the backyard. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, and then you got to kind of like, okay, you got to listen to that. But you don't start muddling, playing in the mud with that. You see him as a person that's going to take care of their family. And then everything you do is assumptive to basically tee them up where they choose and behave in such a way that solidifies that viewpoint. It's the same thing with an agent, where some agent might say, well, I don't know about investing this amount of leads. It's like, you don't get in the mud with that. You see him as somebody that is willing to invest $100,000 to make $1 million, to invest whatever it takes, to do whatever it takes. So you treat them like that. And if you treat them like that, they're more likely to do that, right? And I think it's an important thing that works both ways. And so for you, Dave, when you're, in the military and in that war zone, you could hear all this stuff going on, but you had to not focus on that because it would distract you from swiveling around, making sure that you were focused on the task at hand. No. The bullets could be a distraction. In this business, what do you think is a distraction? And I know it's kind of like almost, humorous, the analogy I'm trying to connect there. Well, it's the choose your hard thing too. So yeah. Like, would you like to go back to this? But, because what we're doing is nothing that's nearly as distractive as having a bullet, scream by your head, I'm sure. I mean, I can't even fathom like what that would be or look like, but what's the distractions in the business that you've dealt with that you've had to put aside so you can keep your focus on what matters most?
Self-doubt probably is one of the bigger ones. It's like I have high self-esteem, but it's more of realizing that if you want it, Dave, if I want it, I'm looking in the mirror, if you want it and you know why you're doing this, get out of your own head. You can do this. And the path is laid out. So I guess the biggest struggle is not believing in yourself, I think, in most of the cases, or not believing in the product sometimes. If you don't know it, meaning if you don't know how to sell. Some people are like, well, I got to get all of my numbers. I've got to get through boot camp 2 times. I've got to do all this other study, and I got to watch a ton of videos. But you learn by getting out there. The trial by fire, in a sense, you have to get out and talk to people. You have to be courageous. But I guess the biggest struggle would be, I don't deal with that anymore. Now I'm extremely confident in it because I know that I'm going to go in there and take care of them. I know that they asked me for help. I believe that. So, but the biggest struggle I think for somebody coming in is maybe self-doubt, and especially people that have never done sales or never done life insurance, because they don't understand it themselves. So their education level might hold them back, but we're all here to help you get educated. There's no lack of resource with FFL.
Yeah, not at all. No question. Well, self-doubt, I think, man, dude, I dealt with it this morning. Dealt with it right before I walked in here. I remember being like 7 years into this thing and having a bad day, and me and Andrew would always talk on the phone between appointments and stuff, and he'd do the same thing, and he'd be, man, got killed today. I don't know if this thing's gonna work. And I remember calling him like, dude, I don't know if this thing's gonna work, man. Like, I think I've been lucky for 7 years, and I wasn't being funny. Like, I had convinced myself that, dude, maybe the last 7 years, like, things had just worked out in a perfect way where I was able to see a successful week in and week out. 10K every week for 7 years, but now it's done. It's gone. I've lost it. And I think self-doubt, man, it's kind of like clients are not in the other room trying to conjure up new objections to give us, right? Nope. So we only get better, and we're handling the same things every single time we sit with a client. I don't think the enemy has any different tactic either. It's doubt, discouragement, division, distortion, disappointment. I mean, it's the same strategy all the time. So no matter how long we're doing anything for, those things are going to be that creeps in, that we have to win that war in our mind, so to speak. And so I think it's something that plagues basically almost anybody and everybody at any time, depending on where you're at and what's going on. Dave, what helps you, like, kind of build that belief? What helps you, what structure, what things do you have in place that kind of helps you stay on point, to stay focused, to stay with it, and keep your mind right? What are some things that you do?
Well, writing out an agenda, and sticking to it. So discipline, repetition, and resolve. So if you have the discipline already, I feel I have the discipline to get up and go. Get up out of bed, go make the bed, get to work. Okay, now don't be afraid to get to work. But then the repetition is find a routine that when you're on the clock for yourself and you're starting a business, stop worrying about, I shouldn't have said that, stop worrying about starting a business and go run a business. Mm-hmm. Now if you're going to run the business, everybody shows us different templates, different things on business management, but it's write out your day. So if I'm getting up at 5, get up at 5. If you're getting up at 4, get up at 4, 6, whatever, but do it. Get up, go do the first step that you put down and you wrote down. So for me, I mean, it's a crutch is a good thing sometimes, because it's not a lack of knowledge. It's just keep yourself in order. You have your checklist for the day. If I don't have an agenda, I can easily get sidetracked and get sucked into something. The worst thing for me is if I get on social media to do drip, okay, and I'm trying to get people and recruit, but also look to see if people need life insurance. Reading other people's posts. Like, yep. you gotta scroll to where you need to get to this group, put in your post, now scroll to get to the next one. Don't get on TikTok and watch 20 TikToks and be like, crap, I was supposed to run one.
It's tough though, dude.
I know that the algorithm, everything's meant to.
Heck yeah. I mean, I get on there on Facebook and I'm intentionally trying to go, put a post out there, and I'm trying to use Facebook, not be used by it. And heck, man, all of a sudden I'll end up on some dude I went to high school, his neighbor's ex-girlfriend's cousin's page, and looking at their status, and I'm like, what in the heck? I got to smack myself. And then I'm researching giraffes, and it's all tied to something they posted about how tall they are, and I'm looking up how tall is a giraffe really? What, baby giraffe, are those tall too? I mean, it's unbelievable how that stuff will mess with you. And then you end up
realizing you just filled out a form to get life insurance.
Yeah, and you got shot in the back of the head. Is what ends up happening. You didn't dial for 2.5 hours, and now you're trying to struggle and being like, man, this ain't working. Well, heck, you're reading some dang posts. You weren't disciplined when you got up on there.
Well, and dials, that's a huge thing. So don't set up your phone burner. Don't set up, you're getting your leads the morning of. Do it the night before. Get everything set up and ready to go, so when you click the button, you dial into phone burner, or you start dialing on your mailers, whatever it is, have it ready the day before. So if it's in my bag, or because I'm going to the office, or if I'm going to work from the home office, it's out on the desk or the table, wherever I'm going to work. It's ready to go. And I know that it kind of drives my wife nuts because I leave things around like that, but that sometimes is, I'm going to have that my crutch. I come out, you get the coffee or whatever, you're going to get your drink, and you see it. You're like, oh, I got to go back to work. Let's go. Never forget your family, though. If you have a family, if you're single and ready to roll and run, that's great. That's awesome. That's perfect. But also don't forget your family. I say that to myself a lot, too, because I have 2 little girls that I absolutely adore, 7 and 3 years old, and my wife, most amazing support system I've ever had in my life. Bigger than the Marine Corps. She's so supportive. But she'll also light the fire under me if I don't do it like I say I'm going to. But your family, just like the name of our organization, Family First Life. It's their families first, our families. All of what I do enables me to protect and provide for all of everybody else, but most importantly, myself and my family. And I just can't, you need a support system, but also when you get sidetracked and you have an agenda, have somebody hold you accountable for it. Jared Lindsay will hold me accountable. I say, hey, let's talk. I need to talk. I'm having a rough time. Like what you did with Andrew. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. shut up and go get on the phones. Like just get back to work. Put in the time, put in the work. Cody Fuller pushed me every day. Gage Peart pushes me every day. And we have our sessions where we're all see each other all the time. It's everybody else is working. Let's do the same thing. The support system that you have at FFL is, I'm telling you, it's what I felt when I was in the Corps. Somebody's always got my six. Somebody's always there to light the fire. But someone's always there to either give you the answer or help you find it or find it with them. There is the answer here. There's a path.
It's good. I love it, man. And I love your analogy about like setting up where you have crutches or enhancements or something that kind of helps you stay on point or gives you that slight edge or advantage to do and choose the right choice. Is there any other crutches as we wrap up, man? Because I think that's a great point, like something to hone in on, because maybe as you step into 2022, you've got good intentions and maybe a crutch will take you from intention to execution. You know what I mean? Like it'll take you from your desired to like actually executing on that, right? And so anything else that you use, whether it's in the home or building a business or anything that you do that kind of helps you stay on point and keep your focus, that kind of enhances the choice that you want to make?
Well, now that you say that too, it's like at the office that we were down by the airport in Indy, and I go in there and we'll draw stuff or write things in like little cues on the dry erase board. So that's something that I do on pieces of paper, but dry it on the dry erase board. So as soon as you walk in the door, you're going to dial now. As soon as you go grab that cup of coffee, write it out. But it's the agenda, but it's literally right in front of your face. So there's a thing where I draw a triangle, okay? First is a situation on the bottom left. Top is your reaction. The bottom right is your result. How's it going to happen today? The situation is it's dial day. That's what you have to do. Your reaction is, do I look at all these YouTube videos or do I watch all this TikToks or do I do these things? What's going to be your result? All day is cyclic. It's situation, reaction, how you do it, and your result.
So you're kind of interrogating your reality in your day throughout the day. Like you're basically auditing your day.
Yeah. I'm in my head in a good way that way, saying, get 100%. Back on this, get back on this. I mean, it comes to the point where it's like, oh, you had to use the restroom an hour ago, Dave.
Yeah, man. I had baby bladder syndrome or something when I got started. Man, I swear I had to pee 82 times in 1 hour, and I think it was just a subconscious distraction. Yep. And I could justify like, well, man, I got to pee. I can't pee my pants. Yep. It made no sense. But I sat back and I started thinking about my thinking and auditing that. It made a difference. And so, man, I appreciate you joining, dude.
This was awesome.
Yeah, this was really great. Thank you for being on. And I think as we kind of go into this week, guys, something that might be a great takeaway is audit your time. Like audit your day while the day's going on. See, sometimes we look back and say, man, this is what I wish would have happened, but it's at the end of the day. It's at the end. The game's over, right? Your 9 appointments are done for the day. You've already interviewed the 32 people. Maybe I wonder if you went through the day after each appointment, you audited it and said, what do I tweak? What do I adjust? Where am I at? How am I thinking? What's my perception? Where's my mindset? Where's my focus? All those kind of things, and then make some calculated adjustments and then go back after it. And then at the end of the day, maybe you have 30% better outcome than you would have at the end of the day. I'm all about doing some reflection and adjustments when it's all said and done. But hey, are you making adjustments at halftime? Do you have a halftime? And how many halftimes do you have? Because it's up to you to choose that. Is it every hour you can sit back and say, how did I do in that hour? Relative to what you've scheduled in your agenda and what you put in place, how well did you execute? Or did you let distractions come in? Because they'll come in. But if we could just stop and say, hey, when those come in, my answer is always not now. Not no, because it'll mess you up, right? Because you feel like you're deprived of whatever, dopamine hit you're going to get to go do that activity or whatever. But not now. Just not now. Not now. And to get right back to it, right? And get right back to the task at hand. And I think if you can kind of see that coming your way, right? Like I know at 7 a.m. when I start dialing, I'm going to be distracted. Like I'm going to need to do this and that. When it comes, I'm going to just say, not now. And I'm going to get back to it. And the crazy thing is, man, it feels so good when you do that, when you can withhold the temptation to engage in the distractions and you can just execute in the thing that you've planned. Things just start to get better. And it doesn't happen right away, but over a period of time, when you could just say not now and to get back to what's important, and you could do it with focus and you could do it with intention, at the end of the week and the next week and next week, you're so much further, ahead of where you thought you could be. And so, Dave, thank you, man.
Thanks
Phenomenal podcast. I appreciate you, man. Guys, let's go out there, make it a massive week. Make sure to like, subscribe, share this phenomenal podcast, and let's set ourselves up to make this a massive year. So, guys, be blessed, be strong, stay steadfast. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
What's going on, guys? You know what time it is. It is time once again to give away $250 in lead credit. If you commented on last week's video, you're automatically entered in a chance to win. So what are you doing? Comment on this video right now as I'm saying this for your chance to win next week. You commented on this video right here, you can win. Just leave a comment right now. I'll stop. I'll wait a couple seconds. You better have left a comment by now. Without further ado, let's see who won this week. Mark Dayton. Man, these podcasts of yours really lift me up in this business. This one really hit home with me. I just started full-time 2 weeks ago, left a full-time job because I was tired of missing every single one of my kids' games, leaving before they woke up and getting home from work when they were going to bed. This hasn't been the easiest transition, but it's worth it. Seeing my kids every day is a true dream life. Thank you. Well, Mark, that's awesome. You just won $250 in leads, which is gonna make your life even that much better. Congratulations going full time, leaving your other job and being able to spend more time with your kids. That's amazing. That is a dream, and that is what we all love and hope to and aspire to do. But get in contact with Victoria, Mark. Her phone number is gonna be right down here. Just get in contact with her and she'll hook you up with your $250 worth of leads. Guys, it's that simple. It's changing lives. This business is changing lives. Leave a comment. Come back every week. We do this drawing every week, and you might win next week. Take care, guys. Make it great. We'll see you next time.